Now we're going to go right to Sue from California with osteoporosis and hypothyroidism. Hello, Sue. You are talking to me live.
Hi, great to talk to you. I'm taking levothyroid oxide for my thyroid, and I want to stop taking the medication. I want to know how to stop it, how to step down. My osteoporosis, I just listened to the calcium. I am taking one with carbonate in it. My problem is that I have a sulfur allergy, so I can't take because it has MSM.
Well, you don't have a sulfur allergy. That's impossible. You have a sulfite allergy, which is different.
Okay.
That's a very, it's an easy thing to be misled about. The sulfur is an essential nutrient.
Okay.
Kind of like water, right? It's impossible to have an allergy for water. You cannot have an allergy to sulfur.
Okay.
Or calcium or any of the other minerals. You can have an allergy to sulfites, which is very different. So there's no problem at all taking. However, so you have hypothyroid, I'm assuming, because you're on levothyroxine, right?
Yes,
All right. How many years have you had that condition?
Oh, my gosh, probably 8 or 9 years.
Okay. And was it a definitive diagnosis or was it just a presumptive diagnosis?
Well, actually what had happened is I had a seizure and I'd fallen down, and when I finally got back to my doctor, he told me that my thyroid was completely not functioning and that I would have to go on some thyroid medication.
Yeah, whatever that means. Usually the test that they test for that is the TSH. It's called a TSH test, and the TSH test is really outdated. It's archaic, and it's completely unreliable.
Okay.
Because the TSH numbers vary from hour to hour throughout the day, and you can have a wide range of TSA tests reporting just over a 24-hour cycle, but MDs never do that. The only time that the TSH is really have any clinical use at all is when it's really, 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 really high. When it's really, 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 really high, then we start to look at that, and then we're going to run some other tests, right? So the best way, in my clinical understanding, to assess your thyroid function is with a lab test called Free, like Free Willy, Free T3 and Free T4, Free T3 and Free T4. So I would have those tests done. Now, when you started the levothyroxine, did you notice any difference in how it made you feel?
Yeah, jittery, couldn't sleep real well, and then slowly my body, I guess, just kind of got used to it. I don't know. I just want to completely get off of it altogether. Okay. And with my doctor, I can't talk to him about supplements. With my osteoporosis, they wanted to put me on medicine. I said, no, I'm not going to go on any osteoporosis medicine. They now want to test.
Smartest girl in class for that, because I'll tell you how the osteoporosis medicine work. They're called bisphosphonates. I have a whole webinar that I did about this, by the way. It's really great, and it's a 1-hour video, and I talk all about it. But to make a long story short, the drugs, the Boniva and the Fosamax, that doctors routinely prescribe for osteoporosis are in a family of meds called bisphosphonates, and bisphosphonates work by putting the cells in your body that chew up old bone to sleep, because your body is constantly in the process of chewing up old bone and laying down new bone. It's happening all the time. Your body's turning over bone tissue all the time. Now, when somebody has osteoporosis, right, they don't have enough bone tissue, and so a reasonable person would assume, well, holy smokes, all we need to do is feed the body the nutrients that the bones need to stay healthy, right? That's a reasonable thing to assume, and that's correct. But the MDs don't do that because the MDs are stupid and they're not trained in medical nutrition at all. And I'm choosing my words carefully. So what do? They develop a synthetic drug that's never existed before in nature, and instead of supporting and promoting the body's ability to manufacture new bone, the drug that they give, Fosamax and Boniva, puts the cells in your body that are chewing up the old bone to sleep. So guess what? Old bone accumulates in your bone, which makes the bone density better, makes the bone density test look better, but now your bones are filled with old bone. Now, why was the body trying to chew up the old bone in the first place? Because old bone is brittle. Old bone is not healthy. So after 4, 5, 6 years on Fosamax or Boniva, your skeleton is jam-packed with old, brittle bone. So you step off of the curb and your leg snaps in two. And this is the latest round of class action lawsuits. against the manufacturers of Fosamax and Boniva, because women all around this country, their bones are snapping now like dry tinder because people have been on Boniva and Fosamax for more than 6 years. And by the way, you notice that Sally Field has gone away, right? No more Sally Field ads for Fosamax or Boniva, whatever it was, because there are all these class action lawsuits against it. It is MD insanity. All right, so what we need to do instead, no secret here, no magic here, is just provide your body with the raw materials that it needs to make strong and healthy bones. So I'm going to tell you how to do that. But about the thyroid condition, now because I cannot prescribe, I'm not licensed in the state of California as a naturopathic physician. You live in California. Because I can't prescribe levothyroxine in California, I can't tell you how to step down from it. But if you were one of my patients in a state that I am licensed to practice naturopathic medicine in, I would advise you to go and talk to a pharmacist. Tell the pharmacist what dose of levothyroxine you've been taking and how long you've been taking it, and get advice from them as to how to step down from it. Now, the thing about stepping down from any drug is once you start stepping down from a drug, you need to stay on that train to the bitter end. You might have some withdrawal symptoms. You might not feel good for a couple of days, but, you know, it's usually a 21-day program or a 28-day program. You need to maintain the discipline while you're weaning off of whatever prescription agent you're weaning off of, and then wait for 4 weeks after the fact to see how you feel, to really judge how you're doing in a drug-free state, okay? Now, what I'm going to recommend here is a comprehensive program for Sue, who's been dealing with a presumptive low thyroid and, you know, low bone density situation for a number of years. So here it is.